Important international, recording in progress, as we have some important international guests with us here today. And as you've just understood, we are recording the session today because it will, if you all agree, be going onto the website of the project of the Power of Facilitation that we will be speaking of today. So let me just introduce myself. My name is Kasha Dougall. I am a communications consultant and a professional facilitator for French manufacturing industrials. And I am English. Nobody is perfect, but I have been in Paris for 25 years. So I'm getting better, and I'm very excited to be co-hosting and co-facilitating this session with Olivier Réaud, no less, the IAF president for the French chapter.
Yes,
would you like to just say a few words? Thank you. Yes. Can I ask you just to close your microphones, actually? Yes. Because I think we have somebody in the background.
Yes. Hello everybody, it's a great pleasure to welcome this session in English in the Fact Week, the Facilitation Week. It's we have two sessions in English this time. The previous one was on Monday evening with Irish people of the Irish chapter about the collection we have on the ULab to review. And today it's about in fact, the training issue, core issue for facilitators, because if we think to our practice, our posture, our impact, it's crucial to improve and work together on this issue. Then I'm very happy to welcome Martin Gilbraith and Maialen Oregi as a special guest. In fact, we are very impatient to listen to their thoughts about impact of facilitation. Then Kasha,
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that introduction. Indeed, I did want to mention that this session is brought to you by the Competence and Training Circle from IAF France, which brings together the principal partners that offer facilitation training throughout France that we will be presenting later on, many of whom are on the call today. But I would first, most importantly, like to present to you our guest today, our star, Martin Gilbraith. Martin is a certified professional facilitator with a huge experience and has, over the years, trained many facilitators all around the world. Perhaps a few words from you, Martin?
Thank you, Kasha and Olivier. Thank you very much. And bonjour, everybody. I'm very pleased to join you all. As Kasha says, my name is Martin Gilbraith. I'm a certified professional facilitator of the IAF, and I've been providing facilitation and facilitation training for more than 25 years, I think. I was first trained as a facilitator 35 years ago. So, of course, I started very young. I can tell you more about myself if you have questions, but...
Okay, that's fabulous. Thank you very much, Martin. Martin is also joined today with three translators, Daya, Maialen and Anna, who are currently working on the translation of the Power of Facilitation book and adaptation to their local markets in Indonesia, Spain and Poland. And they will be joining the conversation later on. But first of all, if Olivier, you could be as kind to start the creation of the groups, we would like you to all feel very included in this special session. And we shall be putting you all into breakout rooms of 2 or 3. And what we would like you to do, you will have 4 minutes 4 minutes. The first 2 minutes for the first person, and then the second, of course, for the second person. And you will answer the following question, which I shall say in French, because I'm sure that you will be having your conversations in the French language. Mais finalement, ce qu'on aimerait bien que vous vous disiez, c'est que pourquoi est-ce que j'ai choisi cette session aujourd'hui? Quelle était ma motivation pour passer 1 heure avec IAF France cet après-midi? Just one request, Olivier, that you place Martin and the 3 translators into one room altogether.
Okay. Then, if I alors. Alors, who are the translator exactly?
So is Annabelle.
Okay, it's okay.
Daya and Maialen. And Martin.
Sorry,
Okay,
it's
and
Dia.
Martin, it's okay, and Daya.
Yeah, Daya from Indonesia.
Daya.
Sorry, guys. It pronounced Dia.
Oh, sorry, Dia.
Dia.
All right.
Thank you.
Dia.
Thank you for the correction.
Then Anna, Dia, Martin, and
Maialen.
Maialen.
Could you put your mics on mute, please?
Yes, it's done.
Okay, fabulous. So, right.
Peut-être résumer en français.
Yeah, so
Kasha, peut-être 2 mots en français pour expliquer ce qu'on va faire dans les breaking rooms.
je viens de le dire, mais je peux le dire une deuxième fois. Vous allez passer donc en fait 4 minutes ensemble, 2 minutes avec la première personne, 2 minutes avec la deuxième, et vous allez répondre à la question quelle était votre motivation pour avoir choisi de passer 1 heure sur ce sujet avec IAF France aujourd'hui. Go!
Go, c'est parti.
Merci, Kasha.
Rebonjour. Comment ça s'est passé, cette petite inclusion?
Extrêmement rapide.
Comment?
Extrêmement rapide.
Ouais, mais c'est fait exprès d'être très très rapide, parce que malheureusement on n'a qu'1 heure aujourd'hui. Donc du coup, vous êtes maintenant inclus, mais de façon très rapide. Voilà.
Alors, pour information, c'est une structure qui a été, c'est une session qui a été inspirée de Liberating Structure, d'une structure qui s'appelle Impromptu Networking, qui se fait normalement à 2, mais là qu'on a adapté à 3 et qui se fait sur des passes un peu plus. Enfin, il y a 3 fois donc une interrogation.
Merci beaucoup, merci Philippe. Alors, je vais maintenant partager mon écran et demander en fait à Olivier juste de faire un petit mot sur le Fac Week, puisque si vous êtes là aujourd'hui, c'est dans le cas du Fac Week, et je pense que cette partie-là, pour l'aisance du groupe, on peut le faire en français.
Oui, très bien, si tu veux, peut-être mais en plein écran, comme ça on profite bien de l'animation qui est portée par ce slide. Donc, dans tous les pays, all the countries, we have donc cette semaine incroyable de la Facilitation Week pour promouvoir la facilitation, à la fois déjà entre nous, facilitateurs, et faire davantage communauté, mais surtout envers l'extérieur, puisque on le constate encore aujourd'hui, la facilitation, c'est connu de quelques publics clients aujourd'hui, dans les organisations, dans les administrations, dans les entreprises, dans les associations, mais c'est finalement encore une forme d'accompagnement qui est très peu visible, je dirais, sur le marché, en tout cas pas assez. Le mot facilitation est connu, mais sa portée ne l'est pas. Et justement, c'est sur sa portée, sur sa puissance d'impact, de Power of Facilitation, sur ses super pouvoirs, tels qu'on a décliné la communication, qu'on souhaite véritablement faire bouger les choses. Donc, un dispositif exceptionnel avec 4 lignes d'événements, des événements pour les facilitateurs eux-mêmes, donc des 100% codev en ligne, et donc ça, c'est tous les matins. On a donc 4 parcours. Un parcours de rencontres le midi, des lunch labs. Donc, lundi, on était à Marseille sur des sujets de gouvernance collaborative. On était avec des clients hier, mercredi. Aujourd'hui, on est sur la formation. Voilà. Et on a ensuite, en début d'après-midi, les ateliers expériences. Donc, on a eu la calligraphie lundi, la magie du jeu mardi. Cet après-midi, on aura avec Camille et Christelle Botta, donc le feedback, et demain une projection sur le futur avec Flavien Bessé, et donc voilà, véritablement des immersions de pratique, et le soir donc des événements plus marquants, plus forts. Donc effectivement, c'était la rétrospective sur l'opération Théorie U qui avait réuni l'Irlande et la France sur une même démarche apprenante avec David et Anne, donc sur le Meetup Inspiration de lundi. Mardi, c'était sur les différentes formes d'accompagnement, facilitation, coaching, conseil, quelle différence. Hier, c'était cette session extraordinaire avec Philippe Brézolin et Henri Lipmanovitz, le fondateur des Liberating Structures. Donc, on était véritablement sur cette compréhension de cette petite pratique fluide qui forme une grammaire assez inédite. Ce soir, on aura Christine Koller avec les bulles de dialogue, un partage dans un dialogue assez authentique sur des petites cellules d'échange très particulières à vivre et à expérimenter. Et demain, soirée de clôture, on sera donc en présentiel chez Comet Meeting en plein Paris, dans le 17e, et en connexion avec d'autres opérations présentielles. Je sais que sur Bordeaux, il devrait y en avoir une, peut-être Tiana nous en dira un mot, et on pense qu'il pourrait y en avoir d'autres dans d'autres places. En tout cas, notre invitation, c'est que l'IAF ne soit pas seulement parisien en France. Et donc, un petit mot justement sur l'IAF, donc pour ceux qui découvrent, donc International Association of Facilitators, c'est l'association métier professionnelle qui représente les facilitateurs et la pratique de la facilitation, créée à Toronto dans les années 90 et aujourd'hui présente dans une quarantaine de pays qui regroupent des milliers de facilitateurs, ou des facilitateurs donc, qui sont membres de IAF World, et des communautés comme en France qui au nom d'IAF France, eh bien, rassemble des facilitateurs pour justement promouvoir les qualités de la facilitation avec les core competences, les compétences cœur, l'éthique du facilitateur. Et l'idée ici, c'est véritablement de monter dans la qualité représentative de ce que nous sommes. Et justement, c'est la connexion avec la slide suivante. Pour y parvenir, il faut que les acteurs de la formation qui forment à la condition de facilitateur, qui chacun travaille avec une éthique complète dans la perspective de l'IF, travaillent ensemble à créer les conditions d'une représentation plus grande encore. Et donc, effectivement, nous avons Format Part, Co-Design It, présent ici, Dialogue en intelligence collective, présent ici, l'université de Cergy-Pontoise, Didascalis, In Principo, GF Insight, qui n'a pas de logo ici, mais qui devrait. Voilà. Et sans doute d'autres, donc je pense à Sagacité avec Coralie Gonzalez et d'autres encore qui ne sont sans doute pas représentés, qui mériteraient de l'être, parce que l'idée, c'est véritablement qu'on travaille main dans la main. On a commencé à le faire depuis le mois de février. Donc, il y a eu pour l'historique comment est née cette démarche. C'est très simple. On a fait un meet-up pour poser le sujet. Derrière, il y a eu l'envie de créer un groupe. Et donc, on a eu un certain nombre de sessions sur février, mars, avril, mai pour se dire, mais c'est génial de travailler ensemble parce que non seulement on comprend qu'on n'est pas directement concurrents, c'est toujours le petit sujet, mais on est chacun sur des territoires de travail qui sont tout à fait complémentaires. Et puis, il y a beaucoup à faire à la fois pour embarquer des nouvelles personnes sur ces démarches, mais aussi pour faire monter en puissance et en impact des gens déjà assez chevronnés, parce qu'on est dans un métier où l'impact, effectivement, doit délivrer. Donc, c'est important véritablement de travailler ensemble. Et donc, C'est la raison pour laquelle on est très heureux. We are very proud to welcome Martin Gilbraith, because to understand where we need to go, it is crucial to listen to the collective of authors who wrote this book about the power of facilitation. Power of facilitation is the tagline of IAF. Then it is very interesting to understand the point of view of the author about the core essence of the value of the facilitator, in fact. Martin.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. So I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to meet you all and share something with you today about my experience of the book and the book project. So The Power of Facilitation is a book, but it's also a project about promoting the power of facilitation worldwide. The original idea was the brainchild of Kimberly Bain of IAF in Canada, a former IAF chair. As you can see, she was the editor of the book and wrote a couple of the chapters as well. And I think it was 2018 or thereabouts that she first convened a number of colleagues from around IAF to try to come together to articulate something of the power of facilitation to make a difference in a variety of different contexts, in a variety of different parts of the world. So as you can see, there are 10 authors and co-authors and 4 visual practitioners who contributed between them, I think it's 10 or 12 chapters. There are chapters on strategy and conflict, team development, organizational transformation, among other things. There are also chapters on the power of facilitation for self-development and as a life skill. So quite a broad range of perspectives on what difference facilitation can make. I was actually a latecomer to the party in that there was already a team working on several of the chapters when I came across the project and said to Kimberly at an IAF conference in Ottawa, do you have room for another chapter? Because Michael Ambiorn and I have been working on exploring the interface, the intersection between facilitation and communication. And we'd be very interested to contribute a chapter on that. Kasha, in fact, was the genesis of this project between Michael and I, because she was at the conference of the International Association of Business Communicators, where Michael and I first got talking about this. And we interviewed Kasha and I think about 24 other facilitators, communicators, and people who use both skill sets for our chapter in the book, and found it a fascinating experience. I hope you enjoy the chapter. So the book has been quite a project. I don't think any of us imagined it would take as long as it did, but it was finally published in English, May 2021. And now I'm very excited to say it has a new afterlife, because we have more than 80 volunteer translators from around the world working on translating the book into 10 or 12 different languages. And I'm very excited that 3 of them are here with us today. They have been giving much more attention to the book in the last year than I have, or any of the other authors. So I would be very keen to hear just a word or two from each of them. Perhaps if they could say their name and where they're based, and maybe just one insight that they've gleaned from the book as they've been working on it. Why don't we go first to Maialen and then to Dia and to Anna?
Maialen.
Thank you, Martin. Yes, I'm Maialen from IAF Spain. So as you could know, our translation is in Spanish, but we have a big challenge because Spanish, the language Spanish, is also used in Latin America, and it's a different Spanish, no? So we create a mixed team We are like three Latin American speaking facilitators and 3 Spanish facilitators, and we are like translating all the book. We are now like finishing, and we are reviewing all the language aspects as our main goal is that everyone could read it in Spanish and could understand and feel like a facilitation, like an not easy, but just like a attractive art, an attractive role to improve in their roles. No, it doesn't matter if they are directors, if they are teachers, or if they are, I don't care, or you are the only mother, no, only your mother. And you can use a facilitator in your daily issues.
Thank you very much, Maialen. Very interesting. Daya, Anna, do you have anything to add with your experience of translation of the book?
In my experience, this project of translating the book makes people from all over Indonesia aware about facilitation. Here I am in the 12 translators in translating the Power of Facilitation to Bahasa Indonesia. And because our background is quite diverse, it is quite challenging for us to find, just like Maialen say, an appropriate expression in Bahasa Indonesia when we translate one word, some term or some words from English version for the book. That's a challenge for us too. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, very interesting. And Anna, final word?
Hi, I'm Anna, and just wanted to add that I'm not a professional translator, but I've been working in English for the last nearly 15 years, and I'm married to an English guy, which means I speak English at home and at work. And yeah, it's a huge challenge to translate a book. And at the same time, I think it was also an eye-opener. It made me realize how much content, I mean professional content especially, is not available in English at all. It's only, sorry, not available in Polish at all. So everything is in English, and it's a huge, huge thing in my view, because not everybody has to speak English. And if you want to have access to professional literature, professional content, it's really, really limited only for those who can speak English, which is really, really something that struck me. It was an eye-opener. And as a Polish person, I understand that people really want to read certain things, want to find out about things, and they can't do it unless it's translated into Polish. So that was a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for those insights and for sharing those experiences. I would like to move on to a discussion mode. And we have a number of, as we mentioned, French organizations on the call with us today that have some questions that they would like to put to our panel of international guests, their experiences. I wonder if, Zélie, you would like to ask your question from Co-Design It?
Yes, of course. And hello, everyone. So we had a question. It was if you have noticed any changes or evolutions over the last years on our job itself, the first one. And how do you think it should impact the way we transmit, we train the organizations we accompany?
Martin, perhaps you would like to pick that one up first of all.
Thank you. I'll be glad to. It's an interesting question. And my first response is that I think facilitation has changed and has to change, just like everything has changed and has to change because of the internet, and more recently because of the pandemic and what we've all learned about the possibilities of the internet. I first started facilitation training in 1997, I think I had an email address, but that was about the limit of my use of the internet. We certainly didn't offer any facilitation training online. I do now, and all the training I offer is through the ICA, the Institute of Cultural Affairs, international non-profit that specializes in top technology of participation. And that training is now widely available in many languages around the world, online as well as face-to-face. And I think it's inevitable that facilitation trainers will have to provide their training online now. I think the new challenge is to go beyond simply online or face-to-face, but also look at how can we be even more flexible in enabling people to learn about facilitation and learn how to facilitate. For example, I'm remembering Ingrid Benz, some of you may know, who wrote Facilitating with Ease. I think she was about the first that I'm aware of to come up with an e-learning project for facilitation, which enables people to learn asynchronously at their own time. I was speaking to some colleagues in IAF England and Wales the other day. Pilar Orti and Simon Wilson, I know, are working on an audio training program, sort of podcast episodes that people can listen to and learn as they walk or as they commute. So I think we need to be a lot more creative and a lot more diverse about how we package our learning and training opportunities. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Just for the audience, un mini résumé, mais si je résume, c'est effectivement qu'on va aller vers de plus en plus de formations en ligne avec de l'apprentissage asynchrone pour que les gens puissent apprendre vraiment à leur rythme et à leur façon, pas forcément devant un ordinateur, et que finalement la communauté doit être encore plus créative et chercher des façons à être de plus en plus diversifiée en fait dans son offre. I wonder if those who are translating the book have any thoughts on that first question as well. Does do Anna or Dia wish to add something?
I don't know what the question was. It was in French, I think. So.
Okay.
Is that Zilly's question? Sorry.
So yes, it was Zilly's question. She was asking actually about
okay.
How has the landscape changed over the last 10 years and what direction should the training organizations take as we go forward?
I don't think I can add anything to what Martin has already said. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay, no problem. That's okay. So if do Dia and Maialen have anything they wish to add on that point?
Maybe I can. Yes, yeah, come on. Sorry.
Probably it will be, it is a little bit different situation in Indonesia, because here we do not have many institutions who provide training services for facilitation. So facilitators in Indonesia develop themselves, what do you call that? By themselves, you know what I mean?
Isolated.
Because we do not have a certain institution for training or to learn about facilitators. Some of my friends have overseas training because it is provided by their offices, but others learn how to facilitate well by reading books. So that's why me and friends in Indonesia, we really try to make the facilitator, the power of facilitation translation become readable for any aspiring facilitator in Indonesia, because we don't have any training provider here.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, thank you very much. Maialen, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes, I believe that training in facilitation is like a mix between knowledge, no theory basis, and then the training on abilities, no, on abilities that you need to facilitate. So in the last years, we usually train our customers in their real projects. So we design with them the methodologies, we observe them when they are facilitating, and we give feedback to them. So it's like, I think that to train in facilitation, you need to be in the real world, no? Like facilitating in real projects. And that's the way I discovered last years, for the last years, that people develop more agile and more deeply their abilities and their knowledge in facilitation.
Super, yeah, thank you very much, Maialen, for those insights. And I would like to call upon Pierre Paris, who is also representing an important training organization here in France, who I believe also had a question that he wanted to ask Martin and the panel. Pierre.
Okay, thank you. As we are talking about the power of facilitation, my question to Martin would be about the impact. So, Martin, could you give us an example to make it a little more embodied, an example of someone who, through attending a good training in facilitation, would have been able to have a strong impact, a very significant impact on transforming a group, transforming an organization, transforming a project. I guess it can be from inside or from outside. It can be internal facilitation or external facilitation. And maybe through this example, my specific interest would be if you could show us what aspect of the training was specifically, from your own experience as a trainer, was specifically transforming this person in a way that she or he was able to have this very strong impact. So this is a question.
Thank you. Good question. The first thing I can say is that the book, The Power of Facilitation, is all about the impact. So there's lots of examples in there of the impact of facilitation training, as well as the impact of facilitation itself. I'll come to that in a moment. When Kasha gave me a preview of these questions yesterday, she said something about the impact that facilitation training had on her. I could start by saying that something of the impact facilitation training had on me when I was about 20 years old. I was first trained in facilitation in order to join a community development project. And I think what transformed my image of myself and my image of my future, my potential career, was the experience of participating in a facilitated process that enabled me to see not only that I have something to contribute to a community project, but also to changing the world. Not only do I have something to contribute, I also have a responsibility to play my part. That was transformational for me, and it led to me taking a very facilitative approach, firstly to my community development work, but then latterly also to management roles, governance roles, and then the last 25 years as a professional facilitator and facilitation trainer as well. I'll share a couple of links as well. Another individual story from an individual trainee. This is not somebody that I've trained or even met, actually, but she was a trainee with colleagues of mine at ICA UK. She's a Ukrainian refugee currently in the UK, working in the HR department of a Ukrainian company, or maybe an international company in Ukraine, I'm not sure. And she found herself managing the crisis response of the company when Russia invaded Ukraine in February. And as you can imagine, they had a very difficult, stressful few months. Many of them relocated to different parts of Ukraine or different parts of Europe, including herself. She wound up taking facilitation training with ICA UK after she had moved to the UK, and she used her facilitation skills to facilitate a team retreat with her dispersed team online to try to make sense of all that they had been through and to draw out some learnings and how they could work differently in the future. And she wrote a blog post, which was just published a week or two ago, which I've shared in the chat. That's the reason it came to my mind, because it was so recent. The stories in the book which I think are most relevant are in the chapter by Maialen Oregi and Trevor Durnford, former directors, owners of Lorensberg's facilitation company in Sweden. They have a whole chapter there on the power of facilitation in facilitating change and transformation of organizations. And they talk a lot about how to transform an organization, it's not enough to just facilitate. You have to develop facilitation capacity as well and embed a facilitative approach across the organization. They give 3 case studies, I think, from memory. One is a hospital, one is I think a manufacturing company. They're not my stories, so I'll leave you to read the book for the detail, but I think that will answer your question very fully.
Wow, fascinating stuff. Interesting, thank you very much, Martin. I wonder if Tiana, also, who mentioned to me that she had a question that she would like to ask Martin in French, and I shall translate it afterwards. Tiana. I think maybe you're on mute. Tiana, t'es on mute?
Sorry. Je comprends pas tout, mais je suis très bien équipée.
Ah, bah c'est super. Vas-y, Tiana, on t'écoute.
Oui, alors, comme je fais des formations à la facilitation, d'abord, il faut expliquer très simplement ce que c'est que la facilitation. Donc, j'ai tendance à dire que j'aide les équipes à mieux travailler ensemble. Et concernant la formation à la facilitation, je vais me retrouver avec des responsables de formation, des dirigeants d'entreprise qui me demandent très clairement, mais quel intérêt, quel avantage j'ai à former mes équipes à la facilitation. Quels seront ensuite les bénéfices pour l'entreprise, pour tout le monde, de se former à la facilitation. Et là, j'aimerais avoir le retour de Sage sur la question.
Merci beaucoup, Tiana. Martin and the panel, Tiana is a very experienced trainer herself. She's also a graphic designer and a graphic facilitator. And she says that very often the people that she is training, or the managers or her prospective clients, ask her, okay, what is in it for me? What are the advantages and the benefits of training my team in facilitation for me, for my team, and for the company?
Sure.
Martin.
Thank you. No, I get asked that a lot as well. What I say in my training courses and to those that ask is that any other approach to leadership and management, I think, is not just enough. Sorry, it's just not enough anymore, if it ever were enough. I think the world is too fast-moving and too uncertain, too volatile. I don't know if you've come across the acronym VUCA, V-U-C-A. I think it stands for volatile, uncertain, can't remember the other one, and ambiguous.
Complex and ambiguous.
Yes, thank you. It's just not possible enough anymore, if it ever was possible, to be able to know what needs to be done and tell people what to do and have all the answers. Facilitation is the only way, I think, that people can take responsibility for themselves further, closer to the front line, if you like, and be supported to work out for themselves what needs to be done and how to make things happen. And if you're finding that your decisions or your plans are not having the results or the impact that you would have wished, well, maybe it's because they weren't well enough informed, or because there wasn't enough buy-in or commitment among the stakeholders that are required to make it happen, in order that they would actually make it happen and make it work. So that's the essence of it, I would say. In terms of developing facilitation capacity in a team in particular, I think it's important to recognize that if you train your team as facilitators, they're not only better able to be more facilitative in their own work, they're also better able to collaborate and participate more effectively together as a team. Facilitation skills make teams more effective, I think, and if teams facilitate themselves and facilitate each other, they can be more effective as teams. There is actually a chapter in the book all about the power of facilitation for team development, by Hector Villarreal from the Dominican Republic. I hope that answers your question, at least a little.
Thank you, Martin. Just for the benefit of Tiana, il dit effectivement que dans un monde VUCA qui est particulièrement volatile, la facilitation semble être véritablement la seule façon de procéder suffisamment rapidement, et que par ailleurs, il s'était rendu compte que si on forme les membres d'une équipe d'être facilitateurs, ils deviennent eux-mêmes des meilleurs collaborateurs, ils participent mieux, et qu'in fine, en fait, les équipes dans leur ensemble sont plus effectifs et plus optimales et plus efficientes.
Merci beaucoup.
Un grand merci. On arrive, we're getting to the end, sorry, of our session with the panel. I do just want to go back to the members of the translators to ask or if they have anything to add on the last two questions. Do they have any ideas about how they respond to their prospective clients, about the benefits of training, or indeed any examples of how training has had a significant impact?
I can gladly share actually something about the impact of
Thank
the
you.
book, that of the book itself when translating it. So it's more an indirect impact of facilitation, really, which made me curious. And after, I'm halfway through the translation now, but I would really like to take part in a session that is facilitated by a professional facilitator to experience the power of facilitation myself, or at least be able to observe a professional facilitator session and then observe a facilitator in action. I know it doesn't really answer your question, but we were talking about impact, and I just wanted to share what impact the book has already made on me as a translator.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Anna. We're waiting for you in France so that we can do a professional session together.
That would be brilliant.
And anything from Dia or from Maialen?
Only to add something new, maybe for me it's important that managers or everybody is trained in facilitation, because they learn how to create safe spaces where people can co-create together. So I think that the power of that, it's incredible and it's fantastic, because people focus in other things, no? And it's like they open their view, they listen better, they can communicate better their ideas, and they are like in the move to add value to each conversation and to everything they do. So I think that the impact of training people in facilitation, it's incredible. Yes.
Super. Thank you very much.
In Indonesia, for this last year, we are seeing another batch of facilitators, because the Ministry of Education now is inserting facilitation and coaching as a competencies for teachers all around Indonesia. So right now, some of the IAF members are helping the ministries to to train teachers, and and this book actually, Martin, give us a lot of perspective of what kind of themes or issues that we need to share with those teachers, because I mean, this is teachers from all over Indonesia, and we have cities and villages and rural area that's very different perspective in seeing the world. So I think that's the impact of facilitation right now in Indonesia.
Wow, so fabulous, going deep into society there. Thank you very much, Martin and the panel, for your response to those questions. But I would like now to open up the floor and ask our French members and the French organizations their thoughts, actually, in French or in English, about the conversation that we are having right now.
Okay. Who would like to ask another question?
Même en français, hein? Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui veut poser une autre question, effectivement, à Martine ou au panel que nous avons aujourd'hui sur la formation de la facilitation et son impact?
Zélie.
Yes, but it's more or less rebound to the first question I've asked to Martin. But coming back to the fact that I think we've all experimented online hybrid facilitation. Personally, I've done a lot during the 2 past years and not a lot before. And coming back to the word powerful, impactful, do you feel, and I ask the question to all of you finally, that it can be as powerful, impactful as a face-to-face meeting? Because after these 2 years of experimentation, we've created a lot of new formats. We've tested everything that we wanted to test, and it's not my personal feeling. What do you think about that?
I think facilitation absolutely can be as powerful online as face-to-face. But it depends on the context and the purpose that you use facilitation for, and it depends on how you design and deliver it. Actually, I think facilitation is more art than science, and everything about facilitation is contextual. Every question, the answer is, well, it depends. And in this case, I think it depends on whether you design your facilitation process for the online or face-to-face environment that you'll be working in. It's not going to work if you take a face-to-face process and simply try to replicate it online. And it's not going to work if you assume that what you can do face-to-face, you will be able to do online. What you can do well online is different to what you can do well face-to-face, but it's equally valuable. And increasingly, because we've discovered that there is so much we can do online, and because of the climate crisis and the carbon emissions associated with traveling globally in particular, increasingly people are not going to be prepared to travel in the way they used to, and they shouldn't be prepared to travel in the way they used to. And the alternative to online will be not at all. So I think we need to choose wisely what to do online, what to do face-to-face. We also, I mean, this is not new. We also need to choose wisely what to do in a meeting and what to do between meetings. There's a great deal that doesn't need to be done in a meeting. It can be done asynchronously, particularly online. I think that's the new frontier.
Thank you very much, Martin, and thank you for your second question, Zélie. So I hand back to Olivier for the conclusion.
Yes, maybe we have 5 minutes. No other question?
Does anyone else? Yeah. Does anyone else have a question?
J'ai une question.
Oui,
une question, puisqu'on a parlé de traduction. J'ai regardé le site que Martin nous a envoyé et j'ai vu que le livre avait été traduit dans plusieurs langues, dans plusieurs pays, mais pas en France. Est-ce que Martin a une explication à ça?
Martin, question for you, because Philip has noticed going onto the website of the book that the book is being translated into many languages, but not in French. And he wonders if you have an answer for that, or a reason why you think that the French have not translated it.
It's very simple. We're still waiting for the volunteers. to identify themselves. And we will very much welcome a French translation. So if any of you are interested to contribute to a French translation, please do volunteer. We would love to have the book translated into any and every language, and especially a language like French, which is so widely spoken. So yes, please do. There's no reason that there is no French translation, except that we're still waiting. If you follow the link to the translation page on the Fact Power website, you'll find details there. You'll also find a very short form to complete. If you're interested in contributing to a French translation, please complete the form, and then we'll know who you are and what your interest and expertise is. If you want to talk amongst yourselves and form a team, so much the better. Otherwise, you can just respond individually, and we will put you together to form a team.
Okay, French people, volunteer.
I think that's
your challenge.
Letitia, did you have a question? Letitia, I saw your hand was up.
Yes, it was just a kind of question and comment for the French translations. Do you have? You can answer. I can't answer. Do you have already people registered and proposed themselves as volunteers for the French, and you are waiting to have a team, or how do you imagine to do? Do we have to translate just for some chapters, and then other people will translate other chapters?
So the short answer,
just to know if I can join a team, or if I have to make a team, or
you can join a team. The short answer is that we've already had one volunteer emerge from this session in private message to me on Zoom. So thank you. You know who you are. You don't have to work alone or form a team. If you volunteer individually, I will invite you to join our base camp, where all of the teams can connect with each other, and you can learn how other teams have approached it.
Okay.
Anna is working alone, I think, to do the Polish translation. Dia is working in a team of about 12 on the Indonesian translation. All the teams are taking different approaches. It's entirely up to you, but we will provide the original English materials for you to work from, and the opportunity for you to connect with all of the other language teams so that you can learn from how they are doing it.
Okay.
Thank you very much for all this conversation, because we need content about facilitation, and you bring very strong content. When I started in the coordination in IAF 10 years ago, we was a lot of discussing about practices, posture, all the things very interesting and crucial. And now we are discussing about format. It is essential, but I think it's already very, it's also very necessary to discuss about purpose, impact on what interests our customer and organization we are serving. Then I think it's very good in IAF to have a discussion on all of this, and to be better on the content for us together and content for other people. And I am very glad to see we can discuss on this issue here, and maybe with that we can federate our effort between training companies and all the French facilitators. And thank you for this great session, and thank you, Kasha, for the facilitation of facilitators.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. So we wanted to end this session really just to ask each participant to write a word in the chat to summarize their key takeaway. Merci, Jean-Emmanuel.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Hélène, Anna.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kasha. It was awesome that you participate in this session, and I'm really glad to see Martin here with you. Thank you, Martin, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karine. So we have in the chat optimism, insights, transmission, Oh, that's great. Facilitation will save the world. Tiana.
I agree with that. It's not. And if you are a facilitator in a region and would like to join us, si vous êtes facilitateur en région et vous voulez développer des connexions locales, n'hésitez pas à nous contacter sur contact@IAF. Je vous mets notre mail que vous connaissez sans doute, mais c'est toujours bien de le rappeler. contact@if-france.org. Et voilà, je pense qu'on a besoin de tous pour avancer et de travailler ensemble pour être meilleurs encore.
Yeah, I love that quote from Pierre. Facilitation is the only way to meet complexity. Very interesting indeed. Okay, well, a final thank you, a million thanks to Martin. It's always such a pleasure. I speak to you regularly from time to time, and it's always so interesting and has a huge impact on my life, really. So you know, I'm so grateful for that, and also you know, to the wider panel, Anna, dear Maialen, it's always great to have the international perspective joining our French colleagues.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a fabulous afternoon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.